Hi there, I'm Sally Stubbs. Please call me Sally. And first of all, a really warm welcome to our garden here in the beautiful English Lake District. And aren't we lucky, because running through our garden here is the really amazing River Greta. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the River Greta and actually using this river as a metaphor. And also I'll be using the weather as a metaphor for what we're going to explore together. So if you just bear with me, everything will become clear. So hopefully what we're going to do in the coming weeks is spend maybe about 15 minutes or so together, because I'm going to make round about 8 of these videos for you in this particular series. And this series of videos is, I promise you, if you just stay with me, going to be so empowering of yourself. And that takes a little time. And what we're going to be doing and the strategies I'm going to share with you, I am going to call them golden keys. So each one of these short videos, because I'm sure you're busy, so we're going to keep it short, is going to be a key and another key and another key, which is really going to unlock what I would call your potential. It's really going to be powerful in that process in freeing you from what? Okay, so these golden keys are about how to deconstruct authentically and permanently that negative inner chatter in the mind, that negative inner bullying of ourself, and that negative inner talk which is constantly predicting. Now, quite a lot of that inner dialogue, a percentage of it for all of us as individuals, was originally brought up by ourselves. We brought that dialogue into our own inner worlds and inner minds in an attempt to keep us safe, not necessarily physically safe, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually safe. Again, if you bear with me, all is going to become clear. And once I start to share these golden keys with you, they are, I promise you, not time consuming for you in your life, but as I said, really empowering. And just a little bit of background about myself. I'm a psychotherapist and hypnotherapist. I'm passionate about my work. I've been in practice now for over 30 years, and I study my work rigorously. And all that I have needed to discover through the past 30 over years is the keys and the strategies and the therapeutic healings that are lasting and authentic and are not cover-up jobs. So for us to deconstruct that negative inner chatter, inner bullying, that prediction, we can't just cover it up because it's still playing in the unconscious mind. But as I was saying, to give you a little bit of background and a little bit more background, for many years I studied an esoteric psychology. I'll just be brief here. But it was the work of a Mr. Gurdjieff, in the early 20th century, and he was brought up in the Caucasus, and he formed a group which was called Seekers of the Truth. That psychology, founded by Mr. Gurdjieff and a scientist called Peter Uspensky, is really quite complicated. But just to make a point here, this negative inner chatter, inner bullying, is never the truth. So let's consider ourselves on this journey together in the coming weeks. We're seeking the truth about ourself. So I'm just going to ask you to try out a couple of things here with me now so that you'll get the point. I am going to say and make a statement in a moment to you about you. And what I'd like you to do is be really observant for a few moments in what comes up in your mind in the moments after I have made this statement. Okay? Maybe just take an easy breath. You are amazing. And maybe what do you notice that's coming up in that dialogue in your own mind? Even such phrases as, how does Sally know that? She doesn't know me. So that's blocking that flow of energy for you to know you're amazing. Even that simple statement. Or maybe a statement which is predictive, such as, what's Sally after? Or even those kind of statements in your own inner chatter that start to come up with, yeah, well, I failed there, didn't I? I can't be that amazing. Or I made a mistake here, so I can't be that amazing. These inner dialogues, they block that flow of energy and truth about who you truly are. For you to know that truth, you are amazing. And there's some great recent scientific research that I read about recently, and this research study has come up with that for you to have ever been born, you had 1 in 400 trillion chances of actually being born. So you are amazing. You did make that journey with whatever you want to call that. Maybe intelligence, maybe some deep, deep inner knowing, but you made that journey, and that statement about yourself is the truth. You are amazing. And all of us were pretty much born that way. And in those first few weeks, months, first couple of years or so, as we were developing and learning about life, we had an amazing flow of consciousness. We had the playfulness, the inventiveness, the curiosity, the inquiry. And something else I want to just quickly share with you as well. What we genuinely have as small infants, and there's research studies recently, which is great that we can do this kind of research these days, backs up that we have generosity within us as young infants and young children, as long as we are emotionally and psychologically, and maybe for you, the word spiritually, secure. We have generosity to share with others. And how do we know that? Well, there are some research studies around, so maybe go and look for them if you like. And one of them that I saw, a documentary, was a number of young infants aged about 2-3 years old were given tasks to do, which meant that if they had a procedure in the right way of pressing a number of different buttons, they would win a treat. And the infant that won the treat every time shared their treat with the other infant who hadn't got the buttons quite right in the right sequence. So all these truths about our humanity are really worth considering. We're all amazing and we're born generous. And so we have a beautiful flow of energy from the conscious through the unconscious minds, the worlds of the unconscious as we're developing. And then muck gets into those worlds. Rarely with ill intention from the big people who are looking after us or protecting us. Muck such as, we're not good enough, we're going to fail, we better try harder. If you do this, that could happen and everything will go horribly wrong. And a lot of our negative inner chatter, as I've already said, is prediction in case something goes wrong, or it's self-bullying. That blocks our flow of energy and our potential to have whatever words resonate with you to describe within here, within our life force, peace, harmony, joy, pleasure, fun, playfulness, which all connect with the deep inner, almost innate generosity, as long as we're emotionally and psychologically secure. That negative inner chatter is stopping that flow of us feeling emotionally and psychologically secure. So hey, now we can actually move on to this first golden key to begin this process of you taking charge of your own negative inner chatter, bullying, prediction, taking charge of it, deconstructing some of it, changing for the better, enhancing your quality of life with self-validating inner dialogues. We can't just do that like that. It's a process. It's kind of like, it'd be nice if we could. If my home needs spring cleaning, I can't unfortunately go and wave a magic wand. I've got to get the muck out of the corners right. So here's the beginning of starting that process of getting the muck out of the corners that block your own inner peace and harmony and pleasure and celebration of life. All that you need to do once a day for maybe round about actually 3 weeks or so is just sit somewhere comfortable just for a couple of minutes. That can be outside in your own garden, in the park, in your office, in your home, and let your eyes gaze at your horizon, whatever your horizon might be. A view of your office wall is fine, but just a couple of minutes when you know you're not going to be interrupted. If you are interrupted, just do it again. And all you need to do is just gently, slightly cross your eyes and then drop your eyes out of focus. Sorry, I was doing it then. I might have looked peculiar. As you gaze at your horizon. As you do that, this amazing thing happens. There's like a moment of space in your mind where there's nothing there. The mind won't have that for long. The mind isn't a vacuum. It needs something there all the time, even if it's the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind has something there all the time. So in that space, begin to bring up your known negative self inner dialogues. Just bring them up, one or two at a time. And to help you find your own negative inner dialogues, if you're not sure how to do that, just before you do this little exercise of gazing at the horizon, crossing your eyes slightly, dropping your eyes out of focus, and then deliberately bring up the statement almost like it was outside of you. Before you do that, to find those statements, think of something that you find quite hard to do. Not really horribly, scarily hard, just something that you find quite hard to do. Something that's likely to have a headline of "I can't" attached to it. Something, for example, well, tomorrow I'm going to go and tell my boss that they'd made a mistake. And that kind of statement will probably bring up an I can't do that. I might get fired. There's a prediction statement. I'm not asking you to do that difficult thing, that quite hard thing, just asking you to begin with to bring up those kind of dialogues in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Just a minute and a half a day, and then have a handy notebook ready and start to jot down some of those main I can'ts. And then the next time I talk to you, we are going to be exploring together what we can begin to do with them. As I've said, we can't just go, I'm going to ignore that and do it anyway, because those I can'ts will start to exaggerate and become even louder, maybe make us feel more scared or more nervous, and so on. So it's been great speaking with you. I will be speaking with you again soon, and I will say bye for now and say goodbye to the River Greeter, and hopefully the weather will be clement and we'll meet by the River Greeter again. Bye for now.